Welcome to Smart Business Show, episode 110. We're going to have my wife join us again today, and we are going to talk about how business and how family works together. And so if you got a spouse, a partner that is on the other side of this, maybe talk with them after, or bring them right in, have a listen, see what you think. I'd love some feedback if you have any about the show. Enjoy it. My wife has lots to offer, and if you don't really organize with your spouse, with your partner, as you run the business, you're going to be a lot worse off for it. You're going to suffer for sure. There's a lot more compatibility, a lot more success you can get if you're both working on it together. Enjoy. Go. So my wife Cynthia is joining me again, and we are going to talk about how running a business has affected our family, because she is the other half of the business, taking care of the kids and in many ways helping me budget, because I'm terrible at that and she's awesome. So how does it affect you? How does owning your own business versus a job affect you, do you think?
I think there's a lot of things that you don't have to think about if we were just both working a job, or if you were working a normal job. You're not thinking then as much about getting the next client or pushing the business forward, or just growing your business in a way that suits your lifestyle.
So you think it'd be easier if I had a job?
Not necessarily.
Big pause.
I think there wouldn't be the pressure of always finding the next client or making sure the business grows or is successful. But then there's also not the security of saying I can go out and do what needs to be done and provide for my family without, a boss that could cut me off at any point.
Mm-hmm. Also, it's nice to be able to shift vacations around, right? As like kids are sick one weekend, to be like, we'll just go next weekend.
Yeah, or the weather's better next week.
Yeah, the weather's better next week has been a nice one for canoe trips in the past. So mainly you focused on the things that would be better if I had a job. What would be worse, do you think?
If you had a job? No, I think that was if you didn't have a job.
If I didn't have a job. Oh, okay. So clearly I need to clarify. So what else? How else does it impact the family, do you think?
I think there's been a lot of flexibility, which has been great.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to set your own hours, and so you can work around what works for us.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of days that you're home early, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
You've been involved in homeschooling with our kids, which if you were working a 9-to-5 job in an office, you wouldn't be able to do. You would even have been skiing.
I have been skiing almost every Monday for the last number of weeks, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think even if I was working remote, so say at home or in this office, which is, about 6K from my house, I still would have, when I did work remote for someone, I still had a quota of hours I had to do. And I think you agree with me that I worked more overtime in that 3 months than I'd worked any time since and any time before.
Absolutely.
I think now if we count all the overtime I've worked in 3 years since then, I might be matching the overtime in those 3 months.
Probably. We learned really quickly that it didn't work for us.
No. Yeah. I took the job because I was tired of clients, and I realized I was way not tired of clients. I was at least not that tired. I certainly wanted to be back to running my own business.
Yeah.
So is there any other ways it affects the family?
I think it has been a really good learning experience. I mean, I think you're way happier. And that's our family life. I don't know, if your spouse is always going to work and comes home unhappy, they're not enjoying their job, it affects your family life because they're exhausted and they don't have energy, and you enjoy what you do and you come home happy and you're ready to jump in and be involved with the kids or whatever activities that we've got going on. And just your satisfaction is so much better than it ever was when you worked at a traditional job.
I think alternatively too, we'll edit that. No, I can see it on the audio. I think alternatively as well, you need to know going into running your own business that if it's been a crappy day at home, if you're not putting time into your family, into your relationship with your spouse, partner, with your kids, it can't help but affect the business. Thinking that you're just going to separate, because it's work and not work, it's not going to happen. You're lying to yourself, right?
Yeah.
So have you seen the alternate like that, how stuff is not going well at home when it's affected business, or do you not notice that?
No, there's certainly days where, if we've been struggling at home, and especially when you worked in a home office in the house,
and could hear the yelling.
and could hear things going south really fast.
Yeah.
Your frustration level would rise as well. And I've had to really make sure, especially with texting and stuff, it's so easy just to shoot off a text and be like, this sucks, or, I can't believe that this happened, or...
and because we've talked about it, that I feel as soon as that happens, I feel like I just have to leave work or something to come
so
out.
I definitely have to be really aware of what I'm sending your way during the day, and I try to honor the blocks of time that you set out.
She does good.
I try to actually only text when you've texted me, and then I respond.
I wanted to check the text today because I think I was reading a book.
Sorry.
What's else? Anything else?
I think generally we've really enjoyed it. It's nice to have the flexibility. It's great to have you working for yourself, and ultimately you've been happier. Like, we're not traditional job people, neither of us are, and that normal 9 to 5 that has dress codes and office requirements and staff meetings, both of us chafe under that.
I say, as I wear a collared shirt, it's totally for the podcast, guys. So I look nice on the video. I've even raised the desk so you can't see the mess on the floor. Anything else? How do you think you support me in the business? Or what's your role, do you think?
Yeah, I think my role has definitely changed over the last few years. Before we had our middle child, I was a lot more involved with the day-to-day running of the business. Like, I did a lot more of the bookkeeping and just that type of stuff. Once we had our second baby and now our third, my involvement directly has changed.
And mainly the second, because she is adventurous.
Taz.
A Tasmanian devil, yes.
So it's changed what I can do. But like I said earlier, just being aware of what your blocks of time are and honoring that, and trying to make sure that I handle the things that need to be handled at home without burdening you with the I have to take all 3 kids to this appointment, or it's easy, even though I know that he needs to work, to fall into, hey, I've got this appointment to go to, can you stay home while I run out with just one of them? And trying to honor the time that Curtis spends at work is a big thing.
Yeah, because as even any type of deep thinking or like hard writing or programming you need to do takes a chunk of time, right? Should we tell the story about when you first came home with Eden before you even had our first kid?
Yeah, go for it.
So my lovely wife here came into the office. It's like the second day you were home after
I was on maternity leave, and we hadn't had the baby yet.
So she was antsy, uncomfortable, and ready to have a baby. And it was about a week, I think, right?
Yeah, she was about a week late at that point.
But, it was the second or third day, and she'd come in I don't know, I want to say 15 times. It was probably 4, and I was just frustrated, to be honest.
It was probably 15.
So we'll go with 15 times. And what did I do when you came in that 16th time?
You gave me money and told me to go find something to do.
That's right. Now, I just got scolded on a friend's podcast recently for doing that. I'm not sure if Carrie left that in or not. But the thing is that we've negotiated and worked this out, right? So if she really needs me home for an appointment, when I look at my calendar for next week, I can see all the appointments because I see our family calendar in my calendar program. And if she really if I have to be home because she's going to something and she can't watch the kids while she's having an exam or something like that, then she puts that Curtis home in there, so I know. And if it's not in there, then I can't be blamed, I suppose. Right? That way I can schedule my week around it, because I know, and this too, I like to see my week planned, and I generally like to stick to that plan. I'm not one that loves sudden change in the middle, am I?
No.
Unless it's like kayaking, maybe. Right?
Yeah.
Or hiking or climbing or something. Anything else? Anything you want to say to the support people out there?
Just listen. I think that's a big thing that I do too, is I listen, I try, and make sure that, when we're brainstorming new ideas to grow the business or whatever, I still listen to a lot of business podcasts, not as many because I can't keep up with as many as I was. And just, listening and brainstorming and talking about how to make it grow, even if you're not interested in the brainstorming process of it, just listen. Your spouse still needs to come home from work and have someone to talk to.
Yeah, because many of us are isolated as well, right? In my office, there are 2 other people right now. You can't see the baby sleeping. This is date night. At least the start of date night. But like, I don't work with anyone in this building. I happen to know the people across the hall, and I know other people on this, it's a 5-acre property. I know other people because we work out together, but I work with no one officially here. So the only person I can really talk to much of the time, and especially like talk to face to face, or even via video, if we account that as face to face, is my wife, right? I talk to other people in Slack, on Twitter, maybe a little bit on Facebook, but she's the only person I can really talk to, and she can see the emotion in it, because you don't get emotion in text. And that really knows me as well, right? As many years as I've known many of these people in Slack, she knows the names. I start talking about someone, she's like, oh, that's Andrew Norcross. Oh, that sounds like Tom did that. And she knows the people because we've talked enough about them, and I've met some of them as well. But they're just not there in front of you. So having your spouse there, your partner there, and really listening, right? Even me listening to like her needs in something, right? She's like, you've been getting up Tuesdays, you find a hard day, because I often get up early, and then I go and I don't get home every other Thursday or every other Tuesday. I don't get home till like 4 o'clock almost, and I've been gone since like 5 a.m. or something.
Yeah, so it's about a 12-hour day.
Well, it's a hard day. Now, most of my other days are not like that at all, right?
No, that's the only consistent, really long day.
Yeah, today was a longer day, but I was done at 1 and went hiking, right? And we had talked about that, and hiking was okay today. And so it was a long day for other reasons, not necessarily work. So negotiate, make sure that like if you're in a season of working hard and working more on the business, you cap that together.
Yeah.
And she does an effective job of capping that, because she's like, you can't do this anymore.
I get grumpy. But we have done that a number of times where, the business has needed just a little bit of a push. And so...
Or we're expecting a kid.
Or we're expecting a baby or whatever.
And some extra money for the vacation, right?
Like a specific 6-week time frame where we've said we're going to push through this, and Curtis is going to work extra hours. And so for me, that means I need to pretty much suck it up and not complain when he's home late, because that's the deal that we made. But there still needs to be an end point to that, because your marriage and your family can't survive that forever. But we've done it a number of times, but it's always been 6 weeks or 8 weeks at a time, and then a period of rest after.
And as I've been saying more and more lately in the email newsletter and the podcasts and in other things, like, I firmly believe that if you have a business success and your family fails, then you just failed. It's not like there's no, oh, well, you did okay. No, you just failed. That's it. So make sure you negotiate that with them. Anything else?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Not right now.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye.